Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for allowing me to sit in since I'm not a formal member of the subcommittee, but it's an important issue, and just about all the other subcommittees have had a CMS representative testifying. I'm going to make certain assumptions, and I want to follow up on this, and it touches on some of the things that my colleagues have already touched on, but as you make this evaluation, as you have these contractors go out there and figure what the people will be bidding on, the suppliers, the first assumption is that you do take quality of the equipment and the product into consideration. All products, all equipment are not created equal. That's going to be an assumption. So when you go out there, there has to be certain characteristics, conditions, and requirements of the particular equipment or product that you're seeking different companies to bid on. Now, that's just an assumption that you take that into consideration. The second assumption is the adequacy, the efficacy part of the particular equipment or product, that it will do the job that it is intended to do. And then lastly, that there are certain products or services, equipment that require, and I think some of my colleagues touched on, instruction, guidance, follow-up, maintenance, support, and that whoever's going to bid has the capacity, the ability to do all of that. Those are my assumptions. Am I correct to assume all that?
You are.
And how did you do it?
Okay.
Let's start off with the quality of the equipment or the product that's being submitted for bid, because all equipment is not created equally. So I just want to know, how do you fix those parameters?
Well, all equipment is not created equal, but the type of equipment we're dealing with, I think in all cases, thinking down the list, maybe not Walker's, is FDA approved. We're talking about FDA approved products. So these are products that have been judged by the FDA and approved, either through a PMA process or a pre-market evaluation process or a 510K approval. That's what we're talking about. From there, we did do a few things in the rule to ensure that suppliers provided quality products, having a transparency process so that all products are listed on the website, publicly available for physicians, for families, for beneficiaries, and that's part of the competition. Beneficiaries will vote with their feet and go for the best products, and so will physicians. The other thing is an anti-discrimination clause, where a supplier can't provide one type of product or brand to their Medicare patient and another to their private care patients. So we try to do some things to support that and go sort of beyond just FDA approval. The second thing I'd say is the accreditation program, which is an important program, on-site reviews, going out looking at the business model, the care model of suppliers, gets to many of the issues that you mentioned. So we're accrediting based on quality standards that go to things like interaction with physician by a supplier to ensure they get the right care, delivery, setup of equipment, and beneficiary education on the equipment consistent with the package insert or the guidelines. There are also special standards for important products like complex rehab mobility, complex power mobility, and for oxygen. Special accreditation standards on top of the basic ones.
Now, once you go through this preliminary process that you just described, is there room for input, what I consider in the real world, people that are utilizing the equipment, utilizing companies' products, utilizing a company's service, follow-up, technical advice, and so on? What I'm talking about is, let's say you have the physician community saying, this particular piece of equipment, even though there's 4 different models out there or products by different manufacturers, this is the one that is the most efficient and effective. This is our choice. And then, of course, you have the hospitals that they agree. We get the best results with this particular equipment. And we have patients, too, that obviously have had very good results. Is there room in this equation of yours for this type of input?
Well, 2 things I'd say about that issue, and the answer, sir, is yes, but 2 things I'd say. One, the products that we're seeing, and we've looked at the products because we've asked suppliers to report what products and brands they're providing. And what we're seeing is a lot of the same national brands of wheelchairs, of oxygen equipment, diabetic supplies, et cetera. So we're seeing the same quality products that beneficiaries are used to using. With respect to the issue of whether a patient needs a certain specific brand or mode of treatment, and the physician says, this patient has to have that brand, there's a process that's actually outlined in the statute and then carried forward in our regulations that allows the physician to say, where it's medically necessary, the supplier has to go through a process to obtain that brand or mode of delivery for a patient. So I think we've tried to factor that into the process.
And part of the reason I'm asking these questions, we're going to have witnesses later that I believe that probably will have a difference of opinion. And my time is up. Mr. Chairman, if you'll indulge me just a couple of seconds.
I yield additional minutes.
I appreciate it. Everything that I just talked about, because obviously I'm going somewhere with this on a particular product, and that's going to be the negative pressure wound therapy, the wound vacs and such. Are you familiar with not necessarily controversy, but the discussion surrounding that particular type of medical equipment, device, product, whatever we want to call it?
I am, sir.
And do you feel that everything we just went over in my 5 minutes or 6 minutes now was applied and you've reached the correct determination regarding what would be the most effective product out there that would be available under this competitive bidding scenario that you all have instituted? I know it was first with just 10 and now we're going to go to 70 and so on areas. But do you believe you have followed that and you have come up with a good outcome?
I absolutely believe that. We've looked at this product very closely over the years, including in coding decisions, looking at this product relative to other products on the market in the same space, looking at the medical evidence that has been reported, and there are a number of different negative pressure wound therapy products on the market now. There's at least 3, 4, and we know they are being, some by big device and drug companies that are being provided, and they will be included in this process of competitive bidding in the 10 areas.
Well, I appreciate your answers. My fear is, of course, what's going to be available to a non-Medicare patient is a superior product that will not be available to the Medicare patient under the scheme of things as instituted by CMS. I yield back. Thank you very much for your indulgence.